to the fourth series of Retail Management. I, Dr. Sushmita Sugala, in today's session will be discussing the concepts on organized retailing, unorganized retailing, and rural retailing. When we talk about organized retailing, this actually refers to trading activities which are undertaken by licensed retailers. That is, they are those people who are registered for paying their sales tax, income tax, and so on. There is a relative uniformity and standardization of retailing, which is definitely the key attribute of modern retail. Organized retail or the modern retail is usually they are chain stores, all owned and franchised by a central entity, or it could be a single store that is larger than some point which has already been pre-decided, which would be the cutoff point. These include the publicly traded supermarkets, corporates-backed hypermarkets, and retail chains, and this could also be the privately owned large retail businesses. This operates on the principle of unity, and some examples that could be quoted are Big Bazaar, Shoppers Stop, Lifestyle, Titan, Tanishq, and many more. This is a picture which would be able to give you more clarity that there is a standard pattern, the way it is organized, the way people can move around the shelves, look at products, pick them up, and this would be a common format if it is a chain of stores. Now, when I talk about unorganized retailing, this is actually an outlet which is run locally by the owner, or he could be the caretaker of a shop that lacks some technical and accounting standardization. Now, the supply chain and sourcing, this is also done locally. This is done locally because the local demands, the local product variety that is sought is again different, and therefore to meet that local needs, the sourcing is also done locally. The outlet may be just a standalone, or it could have a maximum of 2 or 3 outlets, which again could be in different areas of the city. The principle that is followed here is singularity, because we know that these stores, they are not a chain of stores, and you don't need to have certain common features across. Now, this is one of those pictures of unorganized retailing. Now, if we look at what is the difference between organized and unorganized retail. So for organized retail, we could put the characteristics or attributes could be like they are large scale operations. The scope of operation could be nationwide and it could be worldwide. It is highly organized and professionally managed. Management is generally done by the owner in these owner run organized retails. It is generally a chain of stores again. Then it is operated on the principle of unity, like we had just discussed. There is a wide range of products, categories, product lines. There is a huge variety of products out there. The employees are generally skilled and trained, and there is a quality assurance of the products which are being sold through these outlets. If I look at the unorganized retail, these are smaller scale operations. The scope of operations is local or regional, like we had just seen in the definitions. This is highly unorganized, so I could say that it is not professionally managed. Though there are some professional managers who could help them out with some accounting standards or the way it has to be operated. Maximum of 2 or 3 stores. Again, the principle of singularity, like we had discussed. Now, low range of products are here because you are catering to a local demand. So the product varieties or the branded products that is being used is to meet that local need or demand that is there in that market. The employees are generally unskilled and untrained. Here, the focus is on building customer relations. So unorganized retail stores, we could say they have strong customer relations. A few more differences that can be noted for organized and unorganized on other parameters. That is, for organized, There is the physical appearance or the ambience of that store is very pleasurable. You feel like visiting it. Now there is adequate parking facility and this is also well managed. You can walk around the products, you can touch, see, pick it up. Bargaining is not possible because they are generally fixed prices. The variety of merchandise is as per the national and global markets. A few examples: Big Bazaar, Lifestyle, McDonald's. Now, if I look at unorganized retail, again differentiating on the same parameters, we could say that physical appearance or the physical experience that you get when you move out there is not so pleasurable. So that physical experience is lacking. This is inadequate and unmanaged parking facility. You cannot walk around the product shelves, neither see it, because in the picture you must have seen how there is a person who is there to help you out with whatever you want. The bargaining is possible to some extent, and the variety of merchandise is as per the local and regional demands. So this could be, some counter stores or kiosks. Now let us look at what is retailing in rural India, especially because we are talking about rural retailing and this is with respect to India. Now, rural retail means, especially with India, it's a low scale business activity because the population of the villages generally vary and it could go up to a maximum of maybe 1500, it could be 500, and sometimes the villages are so small that it could be less than 100 as well. So therefore, the low scale business activity. Now they deal in very limited products. There is a limited brand variety within each category. So they just choose what the rural people might appreciate and they have a demand for that particular brand or for that particular product. The number of retail outlets is again subject to the population of the village. If the population is very small, maybe 100 or 500, then the number of outlets would be in proportion to that population. Now, what are the different types of retail formats in rural India? Here, we are talking about the periodic markets. Now, these periodic markets could be shandis, haats, jatras. It could be other forms of melas or hawkers, which are the mobile vendors or those street hawkers that you have. When we talk about shandis and haats, these are actually, haats are open air markets, which is there in a rural setting, and people of all different businesses come over for a trading activity where you have customers who buy and there are businessmen who sell. Now, this is done maybe once, twice, or thrice a week at a specific place during that time of the week. Shandis are again periodic markets, which maybe you have it at a certain place which is organized, and every week you have a business transaction, or you could say a business activity which goes on, where the rural people, they bring in products for their own rural community and there is a buying and selling of products. Melas are generally very good. If there is a new product which is to be launched, then people come into melas and this is the right platform for launching such new products. These are some settings of rural retailing. So these are haats which you could see. Now, what are the challenges to organized retail, especially in rural India? The first and foremost, when we talk about rural India, that comes to our mind is the inadequate infrastructure. That is because we know that we do not have the last mile connectivity with all the villages. You do not have good roadways, neither do we have railways which connect them, neither are there buses which connect to all the villages. So the major and the first foremost challenge is the inadequate infrastructure. The second would be expensive distribution channels. Now, why is that distribution channel getting expensive? That is because the villages are so thinly populated that the number of products which goes in is very minimal. So the distribution that is happening, the economies of scale are not being shared. The villages are so scattered that they are not able to club the routes and able to manage the transportation costs. There is again an inability of the rural people to invest in stocks for multiple products. That is because the people, they do not have such deep pockets that they are able to invest into multiple products and even the higher amount of quantity. Now, the communication again is very limited, and the traditional method where you could have it on maybe the walls, or there could be somebody who is speaking over the speakers. Now, of course, we have television and radios which have come forward. Even in villages, it is being operational, but that is again limited medium of communication. There is a lower level of awareness of these products. If there is a new product launched, all the companies focus more on the urban areas, and by the time it reaches the rural areas, it is quite some time. So therefore, the awareness there or the exposure of the products is less. Again, the last point we could say is the low capita income of the rural people. The books that have been used for reference over here is given for you. You can go through them if you want further clarifications on the topics. Thank you.